deep within. I can't go through it alone, and I won't leave you on your own. I stand before you now and promise you I am not afraid. I will fight and guide the way. We will rise again to glory then, soar into the sky. If you stop and see, then you just might believe. We're unstoppable, powerful, enough to beat the odds. If you love me, you will see the flames inside of me.
Beautiful. Just gorgeous. Welcome back to Seduce Me, the Demon War. The War of the Demons. We're starting a new guy. We finished Damien. We finished Sham. I think that's about all we finished. 4 more left. Who's gonna be? Who's it gonna be? Who's it gonna... Seriously, why am I even asking you guys? Freaking spam the comments. And you still are spamming the comments. It's friggin' Matthew.
Hold on there! Before you start the game, I need to ask you a few things. Don't want you getting lost now.
I was gonna say, James didn't even get a chance. Nobody said James. Nobody said James. Poor James. Nobody cares about James. They're all like, Matthew or Eric, Matthew or Eric. Eric was so close. Eric was so close. But then Matthew took over.
First of all, have you read the first story?
Yes, ma'am.
Seduce Me the Otome?
Yes,
like,
ma'am.
Seriously, read it.
Yes, ma'am.
No skimming, no pretending to read it.
Who's pretending
no.
to read it?
It's okay if you haven't, but there are a lot of things in this game that you won't understand unless you fully experience
Okay, guess what I can do to you? Boop. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Boop.
Awesome. Next question.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, awesome. Anyway, I have one last question for you.
Trigger warnings, yeah.
No problem. It's my pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this game is recommended for players ages 18 and up. Trigger warnings include suicide, war, torture, mentions of rape, and a large amount of violence and sexual content.
She sounds so happy, like suicide, war, torture, yeah, all that fun stuff.
Don't worry though. Any sex scene choice you encounter is completely up to you. You can play this game without needing to go through the sex scenes and still get the good endings. Consent is important.
Yes, kids. Wait, what the fuck? Alright, Diana talks to us, whatever. Hold on.
Anyway, we really do.
This has gone on for long enough. I will not let them trap me in a corner like this.
But it is too late, yeah.
Zira!
Zira.
Husband.
You're still here. Why have you not left like the others?
What do you want?
Ugh.
Do you honor our marriage?
I don't know. Did you honor our bond when you slept with that whore?
Oh!
I said, do you honor our marriage?
She answered your question with a question, boy.
I do honor it. Unlike you.
Then you still stand by our bond?
Why are you asking me these questions?
Because I need your energy.
The fucking hell behind me? Jesus.
What? What do you...
I'm giving you your physical form back. You should be thankful.
What? What are you?
Oh. Whoa. Jesus. Okay, I could only stare at what was in front of me. I could hardly believe it was real, but there it was, right before my eyes. Hello, darkness, my old friend. How had my life even gotten to this point? The fuck is going on? As I gripped the pen in my hand, I let my mind settle into the situation. My fingers gently slid over the pen's surface, nervous and softly shaking. This was happening.
Hey, is everything okay?
I don't know, because I don't know what's happening. What's happening? What? I don't know. I glanced up to see Matthew, look at me with worry. I could only shake my head and smile before finally signing my name on the paper in front of me. Oh. What do we... I want to think of a different name, but I feel like we should just go with Sexto like we always do. Who are we? Give me a second while I think about this. So it won't let me type Slutty Pizzeria. It can only be Slutty Piz, which sucks. I don't know. Let's go with Sexto. Or Sexto. Sex Toy. Okay. Toy. Sex Toy. Sex Te. Sex Te. Fuck it. Looking at my own name made me somewhat giddy. Especially since it was next to Matthew's. So what do you think? Matthew looked over and gently rotated the paper on the table to look at what I had written.
Thank you for coming to our wedding.
Oh God, you sound like Damien. After sex. Thank you. What's wrong?
Nothing. It's just really cool to see our names together.
If you want, I can write it on more pieces of paper for you. Just little gifts throughout the house, little sticky notes. Matthew and Sexte. Sexte? It's Sexte, right? I felt a blush run across my cheeks. Was he thinking the same thing I was? Looking at our names together made me feel warm and fuzzy on the inside. Looking at Matthew, he was grinning ear to ear, which made me do the same. His smile was practically infectious.
Anyways, we are very happy you could all attend.
Yeah.
It means so much to us that you support our step forward, and we hope you enjoy the reception.
Okay.
Sounds good, right?
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't at all. Yeah, it sounds great, I guess. Wedding preparations were nothing like I expected. I had organized parties before, but my own wedding had become a new foreign adventure for me too. Figure out with Matthew. Good God. Invitations, budgets, the dress, the ceremony venue, the reception hall. It was all crazy. Budgets, really? You live in a mansion. And you're like, what, 20? Still, I was glad to know that I was able to do this with Matthew. He seemed as excited as I was. There was something missing, however. Hey, Matthew.
Huh? What is it?
Well, you should change. Seriously, you've been wearing those clothes forever. Do you think your mom would approve of this? Did she just, blow up 2 seconds ago? The curiosity of the idea had been eating at me ever since he proposed to me. I know he wasn't a fan of his father, but his mother was a different story. According to him, she had always been supportive of him right up until he left. I need to back up my chair. There we go. Matthew rubbed his head, staring at the table, and thought...
Well, I don't know. I think she'd be surprised I'm marrying a human. But I think she'd be okay with it in the end. She is my mother, after all.
She sounded like a royal bitch, if you ask me. Matthew only smiled and shrugged. I knew it was a bit out on the left field to ask, but I was curious. I wished his mother could be able to attend the wedding, but I knew that would never be an option. That is... No! Don't do that again. Huh? What? Did you hear that? My thoughts instantly derailed as I caught a ghostly whisper that seemed to reverberate in the air. I couldn't pin down the location, but I knew that I had heard something.
Huh? What is it?
I heard something. You didn't hear that?
Hear what?
I looked at Matthew in surprise. He didn't hear the whisper. It had spoken his true name. I shook my head and rubbed my temples. Maybe I was just imagining things.
Help me.
Go fuck yourself! There it was again! Oh. Matthew's like, whoa! Calm down. I stood up from my seat and looked around, trying to figure out where that voice was coming from. Who's there?
Whoa! What's wrong?
Hearing voices again! Seriously, though. Seriously. We're crazy. I looked at Matthew. How could he not hear it? I wasn't crazy. Oh, I forgot to open my guide. Shoot, hold on a second. Got it. Still have those damn things for my birthday. Someone's saying your name! Matthew raised an eyebrow, unsure of what I meant. Why didn't he get it? What was so hard to understand? I'm insane. Your wife's insane. Sorry, fiance.
But I don't hear anything.
I know I'm not making sense, but someone keeps saying your real name.
My real name? Zakeru?
Yeah, that one. Yeah, she keeps saying it and help me. Matthew slowly rose from his seat, looking down the table in confusion and worry. I could tell he believed me, but wasn't sure how to respond. Are you sure you couldn't hear it?
I'm sure.
With a pickle.
Does she
Oh,
sound
shit, what the
like
fuck?
anyone?
Oh, hold on, sorry.
You sure?
No, stop. Matthew looked up at me and walked around the table to stand next to me, and I turned my body to face him. He looked into my eyes and gently brought his hand to my cheek.
Does she sound like anyone we know?
No. No. Well, this is a pill. I stared as Matthew continued to look into my eyes. What was he looking for? Eventually he closed his eyes. He went into deep thought that day. Eventually Matthew leaned in and placed a soft kiss on my forehead. It's what?
I'll look into it, okay?
What are you gonna look into?
For right now, don't worry about it and ignore it. It might be an illusion or something. This place is so full of magic, so it could be that.
Wow, you're not comforting at all. Good job, Matthew. Thanks. I could tell Matthew was worried. He wasn't making any. He wasn't making any sense. You're the one saying here voices. However, I knew that we had a lot in our minds, so it was something that needed to wait. Maybe he wanted me not to worry. Still, I couldn't help but be worried about it. Matthew gently released me and gave me one of his goofy smiles.
Alright, well, I think that's enough work for today. Let's save the rest for tomorrow, okay?
Oh my god, we should make like a little toy army to plan our wedding. That would be amazing. Little squirrels with knives. I nodded. Today had been pretty stressful, so a rest would definitely be good. Oh, we ain't getting any rest tonight. Wink wonk. Matthew led me back up to our room and we got ready for bed. I, however, watched as Matthew absently ruffled his hair. Despite his kid-like demeanor, he was still a man. Where? Wait. Where? Where's the man? I don't see it. Is it hidden under that jacket? Because I don't see a man in front of me. I'm sorry. And he was the one I was going to marry. Is he old enough to marry? I don't think he's even old enough to smoke. What was even better about our love was that we both loved every part of each other. Call me Bug. I couldn't stop gushing over his eyes, his fluffy hair, his kisses. He drove me absolutely crazy as he made me smile every single day I spent with him. It didn't help that he was also sexy underneath that baggy clothes he wore. I don't think he's fully developed, though, yet. I'm sorry, but I don't even see a man there. No one was privileged enough to see him there, and I was the lucky woman given that permission. Yay! Wait. Yay! I simply ruffled his hair. A simple ruffle of his hair, good God, was enough to catch my attention, and I stared at him. I really loved that boy. A small fire burned in my core, letting me know of my sexual attraction to him. Can we not? I just don't want to get arrested. But I wasn't sure of whether or not to go with my gut or just sleep. Can we not? Guys, would you be mad at me if I just skipped the sex scene? You'd be you wouldn't allow that. You'd make me make an extra video like episode 1.2.5. No, 1.5, sorry. Fine.
Oh, look at his face!
There's a lot. He's like, oh dear. I can't. Can I go choose something differently? I don't like where this is headed. Looking up and down his body, I really couldn't help but let my libido take. What the fuck is a libido? Take control. I let out a soft moan loud enough for what is life. He's just like, alright, time for bed. Gets ready, roughs his hair. Oh. And he's like, oh dear, what the fuck? You just don't randomly moan at somebody. Can you imagine walking down the street? Somebody's trying to get your attention. Oh. They just moan at you. Loud enough for Matthew to hear. He froze, terrified of what the hell is going on, turning to look at me with a blush across his face.
Huh?
Exactly.
Matthew!
I was nervous, but I decided to tease him. I would have to go all the way, though. It's a commitment. Look at those eyes. I can't. I slowly began to strip my clothes. I don't know why this is so funny. I'm very hyper tonight. I slowly began to strip off my clothes for no apparent reason, revealing my underwear and bra. There we go. Matthew's eyes darkened to a lustful gaze as I gently ran my fingers into my stomach and between my breasts. Look it, there's a hole here. did a lot of work today, but I don't want to sleep just yet. Wink. I gently leaned forward and climbed onto, where were we? Climbed onto the bed on my hands and knees, letting him enjoy the sight of my cleavage. It's just a line. It's just a line. Matthew turned to watch me slowly, not taking his eyes away from me as I crawled forward to the side of the bed. Hey, that's his territory. You don't touch that. I licked my lips. Oh yeah. Happy to know that my teasing was working, I finally stopped moving forward and got up on my knees, leaning back a bit and stretching my arms behind my head. Ear itches, hold on. Why not make the night a bit better with me? Evil laughter for some reason. I almost couldn't recognize my own voice. However, I went along with it. He wasn't the only one in the relationship that could set a mood. I can't even imagine him trying to set a mood. What? How? What? He slowly strips off his giant jacket, licks his tiny lips, and winks his big puppy eyes? Yeah, okay. Okay. Even though he was the incubus. Hard to believe still. As Matthew stared, thank God he's gone, I felt a soft heat envelop my core and rush through my body. Another moan coming from out of my mouth. You know what, Matthew? You can just leave the room. I think she can handle it herself. I looked at Matthew's eyes, seeing them glow, a loving but lustful-filled gold. It was slowly faded as the enthrallment he cast on me ran through my body, making me hotter. Well, I was... let me just take this off. Throw it to the side, like, what's up? Oh shit, what did I do? What did I do? There we go. I need, like, a tissue. No, my nose is not bleeding. It's just running. Come here, chair with leather. Ha! Got it. Oh, look at them nipples. Oh, dear. Be funny if my nose is bleeding, though. Because then we know who's the real king of this castle. Oh, dear. Yep. Give me a moment. Okay, I think we're ready. I totally didn't take a break there for some unknown reason. Matthew slowly began to strip off his jacket and shirt, letting me enjoy the show of him struggling with a jacket that weighs more than he does. Before he licked his lips, he knew exactly how to respond to my teasing, and despite it not being fair, he used his inhuman charms to make my mind melt at the sight of him. Yep. As he pulled his shirt off his body, look at them, look at them flat chests. As he pulled off his shirt from his As he pulled his shirt off of his body, that was just a weird way to put it, he held it out to the side, letting me get a good look at his chest. Look at this! Look at this! Not done yet, but look at it! Look at the progress! Felt myself lick my own lips at the sight.
Then let me make it better.
You cannot sexualize this boy. You can't. It's not possible. That was all that he needed to say before coming over to me and crawling. I can't. It's always been so awkward with Matthew, and crawling over my body, capturing my lips with his in a heated kiss. His arm wrapped around my waist as his other hand gently slid down behind my back and gingerly held my rear. Squish, squish. Boink. I let my legs move out from underneath me so that he could kneel between them, gently grinding my knees against his. He smirked against my lips as he gave me a playfully slow grind. Yay, with his hips against my core. My mind went crazy at his teasing foreplay. He pulled me against his body, squeezing me with his arms around my waist before deepening the kiss between us. I let a moan escape my throat and became lost in his mouth as he claimed my lips for himself. I'm gonna need those back, though. I kind of need those for stuff. I loved feeling him touch me and hold me to him. Okay, bye, reading. He was the man I loved, and I wanted to give him everything that he everything as he gave me as much and more. What? Our sex became just another way to express a desire and love for each other. Woohoo! soon enough we were both panting and moaning hotly, as was a peaceful night. Hotly as we made deep and passionate love. Yay! Our clothes were strewn about the room, but our focus was in each other's eyes. I really can't. I can't. It's just so hard. His moans echoed mine as he kissed and nipped over my neck and shoulders. However, he'd always come back staring in my eyes and kissing me deep. Can you just imagine, like, they're on, like, he's on top of her, and they just stop and just stare at each other with the most intense look, like, how you doing? Doing good. Stare into my eyes and kiss me deeply as he made love, sweet Matthew love, to me as I made love to him. So I don't know if you all noticed that cut there, but it's the next day. So much stuff happened in between then and now, and I'm still at reading this scene. Wonderful, great, congratulations, let's continue. I haven't totally forgotten what we were doing, not at all. I mean, how could you forget? I mean, you got this. You got this hunk of a man. You got this hunka. I don't know where I was going with that. I loved him, want to be held by him, and be full of him forever. What exactly does that mean? Be full of him forever? Be full of what exactly? My heart blinded him to him, and he was a dream come true for me. To feel his love for me was a blissful treasure I would cherish and experience for the rest of my life. He always knew how to find my sweet spots and knew the ways to make me buck and scream his name. Matthew! That's how I do it. I'd be like, Matthew! Yep, there we go. We rose higher in our pleasure and ecstasy until we both ran over our limits and were ever so gently floated back into a loving feeling of an embrace. Matthew could only pant and hold me in his arms, sweetly petting my hair and kissing over my forehead. I can't.
I love
Please
you
don't
so much.
say anything. You don't need to say anything. I'm just glad I didn't say thank you. Love you too. My heart flooded at the sound of his voice. He was my everything, and to feel him in my arms made me happy beyond compare. I happily embraced the darkness. Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've been making that joke way too much lately. Darkness of sleep as Matthew continued to hold me in his arms. Although he could barely wrap his arms around me because he's so fucking small. The darkness was meant to be peaceful. Sleep was meant to be relaxing. However, my mind began to wander to what happened earlier that evening. Hearing that voice made me worried. Something was off. Something was going on, and I was the only one who could sense it. Why, though? I let the darkness seep into my mind a little longer, unsure of what to think of it. Not again. Oh. Let me just take a moment to explain to you what just happened. So I got my desk and my bed. My bed is directly next to my desk. And my dog is laying on my bed next to me. Directly next to me. And you heard that chain sound that just happened. Hold on. That sound? Yeah, you heard that, right? My dog decides to shake her head so violently and it hits my hand. She shook her head so violently and it hit me. When that chain sound came, scared the living bejesus out of me. I hit my hand on my desk and freaked out. That's the most stupidest thing to get scared over. I'm surprised I didn't scream. That'd be so stupid. What the fuck? Ugh. I opened my eyes and found myself no longer in my bed, but on a stone cold floor, there we go, staring at a high marble ceiling. Despite feeling foreign textures beneath my skin, I vaguely knew where I was. I was in the main hall of the Demon Lord's castle. Sorry, I'm rolling up my pant leg because it's hot. I remembered the sight from the vision the boys gave me when Diana first appeared. Why was I here, though? Where? Move my stuff. There we go. My instincts forced me to turn to the sound, and I saw someone I did not expect. Diana? I held near was Diana, hanging from 4 long lines of chains that were attached to her wrists and ankles. She was spread out like a star, and the chains were pulling her body in different directions, seemingly ready to rip her in half. My mind couldn't fathom why she was in this illusion. If this was one, she looked so different, but I could tell it was her. Why was she in chains, though?
Release me!
Oh, I will.
What? Sorry, I just kind of flailed a little bit. Well, Matthew. What are you doing? Oh, what happened to your eyeball all of a sudden? Matthew's voice reverberated in the cold air, demonic resonance, and it drew my eyes toward him in shock. There he was, sitting on the throne, practically lounging on it. Evil little shit. He was still in his human form, but his eyes were glowing an unnaturally gold color. That's not gold, that's fucking SpongeBob yellow is what that is. What was even more odd was that he was smirking at Diana. I had never seen him smirk like that. I think we just saw it a couple minutes ago, actually. Like he was enjoying seeing someone in someone's pain.
I'll kill you once I'm bored of this game. Your struggle is just so much fun to watch.
You evil little shits, what are you? You're a little ankle biter, aren't you?
You think this is funny, brat?
Jingle, jingle. Matthew glared as the chains pulled hard on Diana's limbs. I flinched from the sound of her body stretching, almost hearing the sounds of bones cracking. Diana, however, sneered at Matthew in reply.
Do you really think calling me a brat is going to help?
What happened between then and now in these games? What happened?
Well, that's what you are. A brat who abuses his toys until they break.
Burn! I can only stare at the two, completely confused by what I was witnessing. I tried to speak up, but suddenly my voice disappeared before any sound could be formed in my throat. Gripping my neck, I looked down, trying to figure out why I couldn't speak, because that's the main problem here. There was some sort of vice pressed through my vocal cords, not allowing me to mutter even a single sound. Its weight made me almost choke. However, I looked back up as Matthew gave a sickly evil chuckle.
That's right. I like to play with my toys until they're of no use to me.
Oh boy!
That's how toys work.
Oh my goodness! What is going on? Matthew stood and I know it's a dream, but damn, I didn't know he had this side to him. Matthew stood up slowly from the throne, and his lips curled into a devilish smile as his tongue ran along his upper lip.
And when I'm done with them, I destroy them.
Ooh, I'm scared.
What of the human? Is she just another toy?
Sex toy. Sex toy. I'm a real life blow-up doll. I looked at Diana, seeing her move her head to look at me before turning back to Matthew in realization I was physically there. I wasn't just watching the event, I was part of it. Oh dear. Matthew looked back at me and his face shifted into an innocent smile. There ain't nothing innocent about what's happening right here. My heart desperately clung to the possibility that he wasn't evil and he was presenting himself to be as he was presenting himself to be. His smile pulled at my heartstrings, giving me hope that he was just playing some sick joke.
She's not just a toy.
She's my customized blow-up doll. My heart dropped in my chest. Matthew tilted his head cutely. More like insanely. Giving me a disgusting feeling of adoration and fear from the sight. Never had I imagined feeling this while looking at the one I loved, yet here I was.
She's my favorite toy. I can't break the toy that I have the most fun with. Especially when that toy gives me so much energy.
It's true. I am just his sex toy. I am just his blow-up doll. Call me Barbara or something. Give me a generic porn name. Sprinkles. That's a stripper. Like a predator, Matthew began to walk towards me, passing underneath Diana's hanging form. I couldn't move as he knelt down and cupped his hand around my chin.
I'll keep you with me forever and
you're growing on my shit list, boy. Fear seared my nerves. I did not want to be near this man. This wasn't Matthew. It couldn't be. But that is a big-ass fly. What the hell? Oh my gosh, I think I have demons in my room. That was a big fly. Could it be? There was no way! As he stood up, I felt tears run down my face. If this was a nightmare, I wanted to wake up. My goodness. Matthew's hands pointed at my throne. That's my throne now, boy. Matthew's hands pointed at the throne and glided through the air back to me. The sounds of chains echoed through the room, forcing me to follow it and see a chain flying at me. Goodness. I tried to scream as I leaped it leaped towards my throat. Goodness. From thin air, a shackle collar formed around my neck, connecting to the chain as it reached me, and I was pulled forward roughly through the air before landing beside the throne with a playful thud. It's playful. It's a nice thud. No! What the fuck just happened? It's like somebody just dropped a dog kennel. Diana screamed as the large cage suddenly formed around my body, making me its prisoner. I scrambled to my knees and gripped the bar surrounding me, now frightened beyond compare. I know what's going on! Well, I know where this is coming from. Yay! Matthew let out a terrifying laugh, sending more waves of fright through my body. This wasn't happening. Oh, but it is.
This world is mine. No one can stand in my way anymore. Not James, not the Demon Lord, and not you, Diana.
Is he gonna start, like, is he gonna put on a miniskirt? Put a little, like, Miku, the fuck are those, pigtails on and just start singing The World Is Mine? Smirking wildly, Matthew looked at Diana, raising his arm across his body.
And I've grown tired of you.
Rest in peace, Diana! You fought a good battle! Before Matthew could move, my fear and anger quickly bubbled in my chest, one word pushing past the blockage in my throat. Step! An end. As my voice ripped through the air, everything went black. Hello, darkness, my old friend. Again. I did it again. My body, however, sat up in bed, in shock from what I had seen. My scream reverberated through the room as I let it sink in that I was awake, and all of that had just been a nightmare. Despite it all feeling real, I was no longer in a cage. I wasn't in a room with Diana being ripped apart. I wasn't...
Ah! What?
What do you have for pants? Let me see your pants. Picking a wedgie? What are you doing? Oh, God, bye.
Ah!
Yep. No. I shot my head to the side to see Matthew in bed with me, sitting up beside me, rubbing his head. A heavy tiredness weighed down on his eyelids. A heavy tiredness weighed down the eyelids over his frightened eyes, but my mind suddenly began to seize in fear just from looking at him. You're a scary man, boy. My mind shouted that it had just been a nightmare. My body couldn't help but remember what Matthew had done to me in that dream. Done to you? Did you see Diana? She was ripped into shreds. Split in two! Oh, damn, time to split! It may have been fake, but I couldn't stop the fright from washing over my nerves. How can you be scared of those puppy dog eyes? Look at those eyes. They're so innocent and naive and just what? Yeah. Tears formed in my eyes as I stared at Matthew. I wanted to know that everything was fine, that it really was more than just a toy for him. I wish, but my voice wouldn't let me speak without bawling. Matthew quickly rubbed his eyes and stared at me, his concern obviously deepening. I got lost at seeing me in tears. Same thing. He slowly raised his hands to embrace me, but I flinched away, causing him to freeze in place.
Whoa! It's okay. It's alright.
Uh-huh.
It's just me.
That's the problem. Uh-huh. Matthew's voice tried to warm over my fear, but my feelings were still conflicted despite my brain knowing better. He continued to stare... I think I just swallowed a bug. He continued to stare over me, waiting for me to relax. I could only meet his gaze warily, with both fear and sadness.
Hey, I'm gonna hug you, okay?
No,
That's all.
no, this is my no-no square. Please don't. My heart wanted to believe him. I had... It's like he's meditating. Oh... my heart wanted to believe him. I had to. Yeah. He couldn't be that. He couldn't be as sadistic as my nightmare had depicted him as. I nodded, and Matthew slowly began to wrap his arms around me, hugging me to his chest.
There we go. It's okay.
I did swallow a bug. I began to melt in Matthew's arms, finally feeling the fear disappear from my body. Pressed my face into his shoulder, shaking in remorse as the panic drained away. I'm so sorry, but just such a little shit. Matthew simply rocked me in his arms like, I know, and nuzzled the side of my head with his. He occasionally planted a kiss over my cheek and shoulder, reminding me of his love and that everything was okie dokie. His breath became a tempo for me to follow, letting me relax and feel his love all around me.
Bad dream, huh?
Nah. Nope. Not at all. Yeah. Matthew gave me a soft squeeze, snuggling up to me, and gratefully, and I can't talk! And I gracefully, yep, snuggled back He would never hurt me. I couldn't let myself be this affected by a nightmare. Hopefully he wouldn't ask about it.
Hey, whatever the dream was, just know that everything will be alright, okay? It was just a stupid nightmare.
Uh-huh.
Whenever you wake up, I'll be right here beside you, ready to make it go away.
Hey, I just realized something. That her dreams are never just dreams. What she dreams, it comes fucking true, man. Like... I'm trying to think... I guess she didn't dream about when Damien caught on fucking fire! That'd been helpful if she did. Warn me of a bad ending, damn. The way he sounded so confident when my heart fluttered in my chest. He truly cared for me, and that was something I adored about him. He loved me, and I loved him in return just as much. Oh... I nodded and nuzzled his shoulder. I swear to God, this fly is huge. I think it ate the spider that attacked me last time. Oh wait, no, I killed that one. I think he ate an elephant. I don't know. I nodded and nuzzled his shoulder, warming into his embrace further. Matthew smiled and kissed the top of my head. As I closed my eyes, he gently laid us back down on onto the mattress and helped me shift and to lie against him, making his chest my pillar. Pillar. Does anybody say winder or pillar? Not window and pillow? Tell me in the comments what you say. Then I can judge you accordingly. Thankfully, the nightmare didn't return that night. I was left with a warm embrace and a peaceful slumber until the morning rose. Even in the days that followed, the nightmare didn't come back. Neither did the mysterious voice. My week became peaceful. Final details for the wedding became our only focus. I was nervous for it, and soon, the day of the wedding had snuck up on me, and I was in my room staring at myself in a wedding dress. I could hardly believe it. I was getting married. My family and guests were all at the church waiting for me to march in, but I was so nervous I hadn't left the mansion yet. It was only a 3-minute drive away, so it wasn't like I was in a terrible rush. And I'm sure they'll wait for you. Don't start the wedding without me! Looking at the digital clock in my room, I marked the time. 13 more minutes. 30 more minutes, and then I'll be whipped. I let out a sigh. I had asked my friends to allow me to get ready on my own, so I was alone in my mansion. Yet, even while I was alone, the anxiousness of the wedding made me nervous. Why? Was I just that excited? Running my hand over my chest, my fingers traced over the seams pretty designs on my dress. It was indeed my dream wedding dress. Jesus. Down to the very last detail, my parents fronted the bill as congratulations, which still made me laugh. How they had ever come to accept Matthew was a mystery to me, especially when he was incredibly vague about who he was. I blamed his incubus magic. That scared the soul out of me. My ghost is now wandering the plains. It's gonna go on an adventure because it got so fucking scared because it just came out of nowhere. I'm a very jumping person, as you can tell. Before I could wander further into my nostalgic memories, almost got killed by fucking devils. What happened? I heard my phone ring, ushering me to quickly answer. Hello?
Hey, Lucky Bride. We have a little bit of a problem.
Matthew's stuck in a tree, isn't he? It's like a reference from a movie. I can't remember what movie that was. It wasn't a movie. Oh, it was an episode of Full House. Ha ha ha. Uncle Jesse got stuck in a tree. My mind quickly froze. A problem? What could possibly be wrong?
Now you're scaring her, Naomi.
The fuck is Carrie? Who the fuck? Carrie is somebody. It's wife, I think.
I don't mean to. Just tell her about the rings.
Oh, for fuck's sake. The rings? What about the rings? Is there no bear? Get it? 'Cause a ring bear. Okay.
Well, apparently Matthew forgot to bring them. He knows where they are, but you'll have to bring them with you when you come.
Good job, Matthew. You're gonna make a great husband. Good job. You forget your wife at the altar. How about that? You get married, then you just walk out. Forget your wife on the honeymoon's what you'll do. I let out a small sigh. It wasn't a big problem, thank goodness. It was something that had an easy solution. Oh, okay, that's fine. Where did he put them?
Well, he said he put the rings in his dresser drawer. He said it was so Simon couldn't get them.
Oh my gosh, we still have that thing? Why did we not get rid of it? Really? I rolled my eyes. Simon wasn't that bad. Besides, he was a doll. Sure. It's fucking Chucky. Sure, he was a doll that could move and stuff. He wasn't evil, just a bit mischievous. What do you mean? It had a knife and it laughed. Alright, I'll bring them over. Meet me at the front of the church and I'll hand them over before the wedding starts.
Got it. See you soon.
See you in 2 years. I hung up and smiled. At least the issue wasn't something outrageous. Whew, thank God. it'd be sucky if it was like getting dragged to the demon world or something. Man, talk about outrageous. That would have been mortifying. Quickly, I rushed over to the dresser and opened the drawer, expecting to see the ring box in plain sight. What the hey? When I looked inside, I found nothing except clothes. I opened each drawer of the dresser, checking each nook and cranny while moving clothes around to find the box, but nothing. Almost started doing the cup song there for a second. It's like, nope. I'm out of here. Fucking Chucky up in this bitch. I looked up and glanced around the bedroom, unsure of why Simon was laughing. He was really wanting to play a game right now. Damn it, Simon. I hiked up my dress and began to search the halls of the mansion, determined to find Simon. Oh, jeez. He had to have the rings. I was in no mood to play around. Simon, give me those rings! He couldn't have gone far. You live in a mansion. He could have gone anywhere. I decided to check this floor before going downstairs. Let me just feel like I just gotta look at the guide real quick. You can look with me, but what the fuck is it? There it is. Give me that. Give me this, 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 give me community guides. Let me see here. Does it really matter what we choose? I don't feel like it does, but I just kind of want to make sure. And so the loading begins. Yep. Don't worry, I can wait. Will you look at that? Waiting for the music actually worked. This one. Give it to me. Hello, James. Hello, Eric. Hello, Sam. And you, just smack him. Oh, dear God. Okay, it doesn't matter. Okay. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Catch the maid by the toe. If she swears at you, let her go. Go to the bathroom. I stepped into the bathroom, looking around and hoping to find the furball somewhere with the ring box. At last, he didn't seem to be anywhere in sight. What the hell? I grumbled to myself before turning to leave. However, my eyes locked onto the bathroom mirror, seeing something that made my heart freeze up. Great. Around my neck was a large tattoo-like mark resembling a blue chain. It was all real, I tell you! It was almost growing over my skin, and the nightmare suddenly rose into my thoughts, reminding me of the fear I had felt. Staring at it, my body began to tremble as the mark seemed to snake around my neck, like a moving shadow. For a moment, I thought the mark would tighten against my neck from simply watching it circle over my skin. I brought my hands to my throat, trying to cover it, but I didn't want to see it. It had to be an illusion, right? I was imagining it. I hesitantly removed my neck from my neck inside in relief to no longer see the chain mark. I was freaking out over nothing. I rubbed my eyes, gently relieved. Yes, I'm getting worked up over. However, great, thought that was over. Guess it wasn't. However, as I looked up back at the mirror, around my neck was a blue collar. I reached to my neck and grasped it as I physically felt the collar around my neck. Get it off! Okay, we're good. Get it off! This couldn't be happening! I wrapped my fingers around the collar and began to pull at it, trying to rip it apart and get it off my neck. It stretched slightly in my hands, but it remained fastened around my neck. I hastily ran my fingers around it, trying to find a latch or closure. When my fingers came up with nothing, I began to panic even more. Ow! I just realized I scratched my arm, which has a sunburn. Oh! Okay. Don't worry, it's okay. How could there not be a latch? I needed to get it off me. Got the worst hiccups. I pulled at it again, practically choking myself in the efforts to remove it. Okay, that's not gonna work. The collar once again stretched in the direction of my hands pulling it, but it would not rip off. Get off, man! I nearly screamed, clawing at the collar, yanking it in different directions. Why was it on my neck? Why wouldn't it come off? At that moment, a word came to my mind. I wasn't sure how it got there, why I thought of the word, but it appeared in my thoughts as if it was exactly what I was thinking about. My fingers began to tingle slightly as it resonated in my mind. As I opened my mouth and let it fly out from my tongue, I felt my body slightly warm in reply. Saliva! Off my cut! The collar, somehow responding to what I said, began to quiver around my neck before fading into black mist and disappearing into the air. I am so done with this magic shit. I instinctively sighed in relief. It was off. Thank God. I rubbed my neck gratefully, feeling only my skin and slightly appreciating the sensation of my fingers running over my bare skin.
I knew it. I knew it. That girl has demon magic.
It was just a simple parlor trick. What the who?
Then quit talking and let's take her. The demon lord will be so pleased.
The who? Before I could turn to search for the voices, I felt hands grab hold of my feet, and I looked down and lifted my dress. Oh, hello. 2 pairs of evil-looking hands. Damn, these hands look evil. Had taken hold of my ankles, reaching through a dark red and purple pentagram. I shrieked, trying to pull my legs away, but couldn't stop them as they swiftly pulled me into the ground. See you later. I was pulled deeper into the darkness. I was no longer in my room. I was being dragged through a dark void, one that I couldn't escape. I reached out and clawed at the dark, trying to find something to grab onto. I tried to pull my legs away from the hands that were holding them, but couldn't pull free. What's going on? Why was this happening? Someone help me! As if someone had heard my screams, I suddenly felt the hands let go of me and disappear, leaving me to float in darkness as they left me in. Don't make the joke! Don't make the joke! No, hello, darkness, my old friend! Damn it! I can't resist. I shut my eyes. Please let this be a dream. Please let this be a dream. I finally felt a surface underneath my feet and collapsed onto it, my body curling in on itself from the experience I had. I didn't dare tear my eyes away from my lap, not ready to get up just yet. The voice I heard, however, made my heart stop.
You! What are you doing here?
Crashing the party, what's up? I looked up, finally having the courage to take in my surroundings. My heart stopped beating for a moment, seizing in my chest. Faye's just so happy that I'm here. It's nice to see you all again. Hello, how you doing? I looked up to see 5 figures, strangers, monsters, and beings that I didn't recognize. They all looked down at me in surprise, as if I had dropped in at a very bad time. I don't think dropping in at any time would be good. One man looked like an orc from a fantasy game without the tusk. He had a broken horn and was a very frightening aura around him as he stared at me. The other male was lanky in comparison, more human-like, but I could almost feel power emanating from him regardless. One of the women who was staring at me had rabbit ears. Fuck me. Rabbit ears. They twitched on top of her head as she looked at me and gripped her staff. She seemed harmless, yet she had animal ears. The one creature that I couldn't discern the sex of seemed more excited to see me than surprised. What freaked me out was that they had wings sticking out from their back and they were floating. The last woman, however, set off alarm bells in my head as I looked at her surprised face, her hair, her eyes. Diana? As she stared, the woman turned her body towards me in recognition. To the name I called her, it was her.
What are you doing here?
If I had a clue. Diana walked towards me and stared down at me. It was odd. She didn't look like a human, yet I wasn't afraid of her. Demon form. As it towered over me, I was more in shock as to what was going on. Shadow, I love you, my baby! Before Diana could speak further, most likely to repeat herself, a figure quickly stepped up and bowed to her, kneeling beside me.
My lady, please forgive me. I felt something moving between our worlds and assumed the Demon Lord was to blame, so I intercepted his summoning of this human.
Thank you, Shadow.
You! So I wasn't the only one who felt the change in the air.
Diana stared at the man kneeling beside me as I kept my eyes up at her. As she turned her gaze back to me, I gulped silently. What was she gonna do with me? This all felt wrong. I was about to be married. Not anymore, bitch. I was about to live my happily ever after with a man I loved, and I was in a place I didn't know with Diana and a bunch of other creatures I didn't recognize. My instinct was to... I don't want to do any of these, but just stay still. I mean, attack! That's not gonna get on her. What happens if we just scream? Just scream. I needed to. I had to. Just friggin' scream bloody murder at her. My anger and sadness bubbled and boiled until the need to scream pressed against my throat, forcing me to let go. Wow! Go wild! She's like, child, please. Child, please, I'm trying to figure this out. As my scream escaped me, the other beings in the room jumped back and covered their ears. My scream wasn't weak. It was loud and bounced around the room in endless echo. Oh, poor rabbit right now. Holy shit. I didn't care if my throat would hurt. I didn't care that I also felt the pain of my shriek. I just needed to scream and let out my sadness. Why was this happening? What? Ow. I wrapped my arms around my body, letting the scream use up all the air in my lungs. It wasn't helping. I just needed some sort of release.
Damn it, stop!
Oh dear, I made her mad. Oh, I made her mad. All of a sudden, my body began to heat up, and I felt my voice dissipate into silence. I was a little dizzy, but I felt calm, and the anger I had was gone. I stared at Diana, wondering what was going on. Diana had extended her hand out to me, staring at me with a pained expression as her visible eye glimmered a warm golden color. Was she enthralling me? I didn't feel aroused. Surprising in this game. But I knew that the warmth filling my body was a demon's enthrallment spell. Regardless, I felt my throat hear from the scream as I stared at Diana.
Are you calm now?
For now.
For a human, the girl can really shriek.
Damn right I can!
Better than the sirens can. That's for sure.
Diana's just like, everybody just shut up.
Poor thing. She must be traumatized.
Traumatized? Or psychotically mad?
Watch your mouth, son!
Everyone hush!
Thank you! Silent and engulfed room as Diana looked at the four beings behind her. She then turned back to me and held her hand, ushering for me to take it.
Can you stand?
I nodded and took her hand, standing up at last. I looked around at the other beings in the room. They all kept their gaze to me, unsure of what I would say or do or say. Would I scream again? Oh boy. Diana, however, led the conversation.
First, can you tell me what happened to you?
I took a breath, recounting everything that happened. I was about to go to the church to be married, and then I was attacked by this darkness. A couple of hands grabbed my legs and pulled me into it, and then I fell here.
A shadow summoning.
I guess. Whoa. Diana turned to one of the beings, a lanky male, and glared.
One of yours couldn't have.
On my honor, it wasn't any of mine. We have nothing to gain from kidnapping a human. Nor do we know who this woman is, anyhow.
My lady, if I may, I clearly remember hearing imp demons in the void along with her. It must have been the Demon Lord's henchmen.
And yet, he didn't say anything to anybody. Good job, Seto. Good job doing your job.
Those damnable creatures. That explains it.
Diana crossed her arms and looked to me again.
Well, dear, it seems that you were to be either a new harem girl for the Demon Lord to ravish, or bait for the boys to return to their father's side. Either way, I doubt you would have lived long had the Demon Lord gotten his hands on you.
The valiant shiver ran up my spine. Was it true? Would I have died?
Wait a minute. This girl knows about the Demon Lord's heirs?
Yes. Hilariously enough, she was set to marry one of them, as you can see from her garb.
As Diana motioned towards my dress, I realized how vulnerable I was and felt extremely self-conscious. I wrapped my arms around myself as Diana let out a sigh.
Well, since you do not belong here, the obvious thing to do is to send you home.
I like how we feel self-conscious, yet there's Diana, friggin' butt-ass naked, flaunting it. I couldn't help but stare wide-eyed at Diana. She was really going to send me home, really? I couldn't believe my ears! You can still hear after that scream. Will you really send me back?
Of course. It should be easy to do once everything is in order. It'll be like you never left the human world.
Giggity. Wait, like I never left the human world? What do you mean by left the human world? Where the fuck do you think you are? Diana stared before chuckling softly, gesturing to the room and beings within it.
Dear, do you not realize where you are? You are in the demon world.
Welcome. We're the welcoming committee. My mind went blank. It couldn't be. It couldn't be the demon world. No way. No way in hell. No way in demon world. Ha. I felt myself back up against the wall behind me, suddenly afraid. I was in another world. How? Diana stepped towards me, both of her hands softly trying to show me she meant no harm as she positioned them in front of her body.
Do not panic. We will send you back now, so there's nothing to worry about.
Please don't panic. We don't need you screaming again.
How will you power the spell? Bringing someone here is no easy task, but sending someone back, consumes much more energy.
I'll use what energy I have now and rest. We can organize the siege another time when I fully recover. It's not like the Demon Lord can escape the corner we've trapped him in, so we do have some time to spare.
You'd waste time and energy on this human. We must strike now while the Demon Lord is weakened.
But the human doesn't belong here. She needs to go home.
Shall I prepare the return spell?
Do. I grant you permission to use my energy to power the spell.
With a nod, the lanky man held out his hand towards the wall, and looked over in the direction it was aimed at. Pretty. Diana's shadow? I watched as Diana's shadow simply stood against the wall, mirroring the movements of her real succubus in the room. Before my eyes, the shadow began to morph, expand on the wall on its own. I looked back to Diana to see her wrapping her arms around herself and curling her shoulders over. As if she was in pain, her nails embedded themselves into her forearms, and I could barely make out a painful hiss escaping her clenched teeth. Was the spell hurting her that badly? I turned back to the wall to see Diana's shadow shaking and vibrating. Shake it up. As if it was resisting the change the man was forcing on it.
You will obey my command. Open the gates to the void, and allow passage to the world we seek.
Transitum per renan pector tenibris. Ubi aperit. Iano io. Deception.
Right when that explosion came, a fucking fly dive-bombed right in front of my computer. Upon Diana's final words, her shadow burst and expanded into an oval-shaped doorway. I stared wide-eyed at the passage before it... Get out of here! Get the fuck out. Stirred away for a hand placed itself on my shoulder, forcing me to look over. The one with the spear gently pressed my shoulder forward and looked down at me with an almost stern face.
You must leave now. The faster you leave, the quicker we can close the void.
Go! Go! Go get married!
I will! I quickly nodded and lifted the bottom of my dress, stepping forward to make a run for the passageway. However, before I could bolt towards my freedom, a snarl echoed through the room.
How dare you interfere with my summoning!
That very moment, Diana began to scream, arching her spine and throwing her head back. Around her body were red, tinted bolts of lightning, flashing and shocking her form.
No! Human! Use the passage! Now!
He didn't have to tell me twice. I bolted towards the portal, diving forward as I neared it, but I was forced back by a burst of energy and a flash of red light. I fell to the floor, almost slamming my head into the stone.
Human will never, ever leave this world alive!
You spineless worm!
Close the portal! The Demon Lord might get through!
But the human...
Close it!
Oh, shit went down. As commanded, the man pulled his hand back, visually forcing his arm back behind his body, and Diana's shadow quickly began to morph back into a simple shadow. The electricity around Diana faded away as she began to tip forward. The man with the spear dropped his weapon and caught Diana in his arms, cradling her to his body as she panted and gasped for air.
I don't sense the Demon Lord anywhere.
Well, that's good.
The worm has to scurry through the shadows to try and fight back. He'll be dead soon enough.
How is she, guard?
Diana seemed to look Diana seemed to be uninjured. Diana seemed to be uninjured, but her body was twitching from the aftermath of the magical attack. Her visible eye was shut tight as she dug her fingers into the guard's jacket to cling to him. As her eye opened, I saw not a blood ruby red color, but I saw cold and unfriendly golden color painted over her iris. Her mouth opened as she panted for air. I could see the hunger in her facial expression, but she continued to stare at the wall, not wanting to make eye contact with anyone.
There are no physical wounds, but she's been weakened. I must give her my energy so she can recover.
Wink. I'm fine. You too. So it's just you and me, guys, now. Want to talk about them behind their backs? The man swiftly moved and hooked an arm underneath Diana's knees, lifting her up bridal style as she clung to his jacket. Yes, phone? Is there a reason you dinged me? Hey, I got a YouTube comment. Sam needs a shot collar. The fuck? What? Sam needs a shot collar, lol. Guys, calm down. Calm down. Goodness. Lifting her bottle slash, she clung to his jacket, shivering. The spear that had fallen to the floor faded into a black and purple mist as he quickly left the room with her in his arms. My mind, however, began to panic. I couldn't go home. Why was I being forced to stay? Damn the Demon Lord, this wasn't right.
There's an imp in the castle. That is the only way the Demon Lord could have been able to interfere.
You! Guards by the door! Hunt it down!
A pair of guards that were apparently by the door saluted the one commanding them and ran off. I felt out of place, alone, terrified as what was going to happen. The Demon Lord wanted me here, and his words pounded my mind. How was I going to get home? Would I ever be able to go home?
Hey.
Hi. I looked up to see the winged person hovering near me, but before they moved and sat on their knees on the stone ground beside me.
We'll get you home, okay? Diana just needs a little rest, okay?
She needs more than rest. She needs to use a different spell to send her back. The Demon Lord will expect her to use the shadow spell again.
How about the normal way? I'm sure we can connect to a witch, or even the warlock she used before, to reopen a portal to the human world.
The warlock she used to get to the human world died, remember? And he was the most powerful warlock in the human world, practically a god himself. What other human could be used to open a portal without another human dying?
It was merely a suggestion. The faster we get this human home, the faster we can move on and finish off the Demon Lord.
Well, what are we going to do with the human now?
Give me some cake.
We can give her a room to rest in. Humans need sleep after all. Maybe by the time she wakes up, we'll think of a solution.
Come.
I looked very happy. The woman with rabbit ears looked down at me, and I lowered her hand to me, inviting me to take it. She had a kind but concerned expression on her face, so I trusted her. I slowly took her hand and began to stand up as the fairy figure brushed off the small patches of dust that had accumulated on my dress. I couldn't do anything. I was forced to listen to the beings around me because there was nothing else I could do. Without them, I couldn't get home. My heart ached, and I had to accept my predicament.
Here, I'll bring you to the open ambassador's room. You are free to rest there for now.
Always ask about Diana. What about Diana? The floating person giggled softly as the woman with rabbit ears cleared her throat.
She'll be fine. She's being taken care of right now.
Damn right she is.
Why not just say she's getting fucked?
And the brute strikes again with the lack of tasteful filtering between his brain and his mouth. You still have yet to prove me wrong about my expectations of you.
Keep testing me, assassin. I'm not afraid to rip your spine out of your body and use it as a back scratcher.
Goodness.
You can very well try, brute.
Ugh! Would you both knock it off?
Come, everything will be taken care of.
Before I could protest, the woman led me out of the room and into the hall. And I'm gonna end it here, guys, because I'm hot and my sunburn really hurts. So I'll see you guys in the next episode. Goodbye!